what Maria Zakharova said about the situation between Belarus and Poland. It seems that Belarus is trying to close the border, and
Mhm.
Russia is somehow warning them about the consequences of that. How, what has happened in your opinion with the case of drones, and what has turned to some sort of political turmoil? What was that in your opinion?
False flag. It's pretty much a reeks of it. I mean, mile away, and so, and when you look at the Gerberas and things like that, even the Russian defense minister stated, I mean, they don't have range to go in. So it was the listen. Poland is facing an economic calamity. Well, Ukraine, we know what is happening, and so they need war, and they will try to do anything they can possibly do, to do something. And don't forget, those people for in their desire to stay in power, be that Zelensky regime, obviously, or even in Poland, they need, there are no any more grants or privilege loans coming from European Union. It's over. I mean, it's done. It was, decided when the Poland was being prepared and made up as the facade, so to speak, front glass, of the post-communist, so to speak, world. It's gone. And so what do? They know what happens now. They understand the war is lost. It was lost in 2023 completely. It's just that because considering the lack of intellectual level of those people, and Sikorsky is imbecile, for example. Okay, well, he is married to this Anne Applebaum. She is a rabid Russophobe and moron, essentially. And so it goes Tusk, and all those people. They need to stay in power. They need to attract attention for some reason. So what are they going to do? Did you see this Gerber drone put on the chicken coop in Poland, which is physically impossible? So most likely what happened, no, it doesn't mean that some drone cannot accidentally, fly in. The problem is, of course, that Gerberas are used primarily as decoys. They don't carry explosives. So, and most likely they were taken by Ukrainians and delivered to Poland. And they played this baloney kabuki theater, and Russians laugh at it, So if Poland would have been really, the target of Russian attack, uh, there would be no Polish government today in existence. Okay, so let's put it this way. But again, it's primarily for hoi polloi and Poles. I mean, there are many good, decent, good people in Poland. Make no mistake. So, but Poles they hate Russians. Okay, I mean, large percentage of the population. They are easily manipulated. And so that's what it is. Per Ukraine, yes, Zelensky regime to survive, and including his curators from this dumpster in London, they also need some kind of action, So they need some, especially being absolutely terrified by what is happening on the separate economic track between Russia and United States. And they are absolutely terrified of it. Europeans, being the cuckolds, those people have no any kind of honor or integrity, and they do not want to fight for themselves. They want United States to stay in Europe. And average European, average. I'm not saying there are many decent people, in Europe. I don't want to do the broad brush, but take average European. You can sell him any kind cornucopia of the BS. Like Russians eat children, they will come and rape your wife, and things like that. They're morons. Okay, so and they don't have real serious alternative media, and as the result, you have this mass, you have to manipulate in order to stay in power. But economic realities and things of this nature beginning to take a toll on Europe itself. We see what's happening in France, for example. So these are all indications, symptoms of their illness coming into the terminal phase, essentially. For Europe, it's over. It's done. It's Europe is not going to recover. They are poor. I mean, literally poor. They made their, standard of living and prosperity primarily on the Russian energy and American, whatever the defense, doctrine and defense expenditure, which was primarily American. So now it's pretty much over. So they have to live on what they got, and they don't have much, to put it mildly. Okay. So, and that's what is this all about. And yeah, they will continue to do this. And Article 4 theater, and it's really not a theater, it's stand-up comedy. Turkey was into this Article 4 since 2003. They're like, what, 13 or 14 times they invoke Article 4. Poland does it all the time. So it's all PR noise, all kinds of hustle. They're, Chihuahuas trying to, stave off their inevitable decline and death, so that's what it is.
I think the question would be in the mind of those people in Poland, why does Russia need to come to Poland? Why does Russia need to attack Poland?
You cannot explain to average European today, you can't, that Russians live much better than they do. This is the thing which they still cannot grasp, and which, of course, is very insulting to them. They remember themselves in 70s, 80s, and even 90s, the European prosperity. Everybody is doing well. There are savings. There are all kinds of things. And now you come to them and say, well, Russians actually own more real estate than you, per capita than you ever will. Yeah, it might not be the prime real estate in many cases, like the old Soviet apartment, but Russians own them. They pay very little in terms of PUD. And of course, the Russian energy, electricity, heating, everything. And then, and you look at this and you start to explain to them, you have to take some guy from the middle of Poland. Not that Poles do not travel. Poles do travel to Russia and Belarus, and very many Poles are still retain a very significant, communications lines of communications between, in Russia open. They travel to Moscow, St. Petersburg, Ekaterinburg. So there was always, it's totally normal, to have Poles traveling to Russia, and many Russians love Poland, So it's kind of, and they see what they observe it. But for average German from Munich, for example, or some Dutch dude, let alone some French dude who still thinks that the dumpster of Paris, which stinks to heaven, and is not Paris anymore, is somehow some kind of the outstanding place, they need to be taken to Russia, and they will have the cognitive dissonance and cultural shock of their life, because they will understand that they're third world now, You have to explain it to them. And Brussels is not even Belgium anymore. The majority of population of Brussels is actually all kinds of people from all fringes, primarily Islamic fringes, so African and things of this nature. People who have nothing in common with European culture. And as a result, we see what is happening. And, what can I say? If they want to be manipulated, let them. But it looks like something is happening in France. It's going to be suppressed. French are not the French which used to go to the barricades and do all things like it's. France is done. So as is the Europe, as is Europe as a whole, and they voted for that. So I'm sorry. It's just no matter what they say. I'm so sick and tired listening to this. Like, oh no, we didn't vote for that. It was all manipulation. No, you did. You did. Simple, as the Russians did for Yeltsin in 1996. They did it. Russians knew it. And nobody said, oh, yeah, there was obviously, we know there were irregularities and everything, but Russians have been manipulated by media, by all those polittechnologists, and Russians know. Even though there were obviously all kinds of the types of the irregularities, and some people say that, for example, Gennady Zyuganov won, but even if he won, it was by very little margin. So in this case, Russians understand we voted for what happened to us. We bear responsibility. We do not put this responsibility on some outside forces, albeit we register. We know they were present, but it was us. It was our decision. This is how responsible people act, They don't go there blaming everything constantly on the outside factors. What about yourself? What was your personal responsibility. Europeans do not want to take this responsibility. These morons in France, guess what? You offer them today, again, any choice, they will go and again vote for globalists who will screw them over even. The same goes for Germans, except for the Eastern Germany, which is former GDR. There are people who are still Germans who have been preserved by the Soviet Union with the German culture, albeit in the socialist type framework. So, they lost their cultures. So resign yourself, live with that. Same goes for Italians. They will continue to fall for this. That means what? They are morons. I'm sorry to say that. And that's what happened.
Andre, the escalation out of this false flag operation is somehow amazing because you see F-35, Rafale fighter jets. These are capable of carrying nuclear bombs. And
No. Let's not kind of. Oh, MiG-29s are capable of carrying, for example, nuclear munitions. Let's not
they're
go
not
there.
flying over France. They're not flying over
Oh no, they're
Poland.
flying. They can fly whatever they want. You have to understand. They carry. The only country in Europe which has any kind of the standoff nuclear weapon is France. It has 300-kilometer range, supersonic missile, which can carry Rafales can carry it. F-35s, by the way, will not be able to carry it. It's for Rafale primarily, and Mirage 2000. It's nuclear. They call it bomber. It's reality. It's fighter. So, but it's French. They love to exaggerate things. But the point is, they do have it. It has, as I already stated, the range of 300 kilometers, and but obviously the rest of it, F-35 and B-61, it is what is called gravity, which means free falling bomb. Obviously, Russians take note of it, but they can move those F-35s whatever they want. You cannot penetrate and do anything with this nuclear weapon because you have to overcome, obviously, Russian air defense and Russian Air Force, which is today the best air force in the world by far. So if they think that you literally have to be in F-35, which is not really that stealth. It's all baloney marketing BS sold to all kinds of the fanboys. But reality is you literally need to, for example, you want to bomb Moscow, let's say this, with a B-61 bomb, you literally have to fly from point A to Moscow and drop the bomb. That's how it works. And that means what? It doesn't work. It's the weapon and the operational concept from 1960s and 1970s. The reality is all nuclear and mutually assured destruction thing is based not around those B-61s. It is based on the missilery, and especially intercontinental ballistic missiles. This is what really matters. And of course, some tactical or intermediate range missiles, which United States desperately tries to create in terms of what is called long-range hypersonic weapon, which is not going to happen for a long time. They were doing this since 2019. No success. And so that has to be understood. What they do is this legerdemain. They need to move things. Yeah, impress me with Gripen. Impress Russian air defense with F-35. There are many people in Russia who would love to shoot it down, So in this case, all this, as I already stated, it's basically the it's a Wizard of Oz thing, the smoke, amplified voices. They are militarily impotent. Sweden is impotent. Norway is impotent. Poland is impotent, despite the fact that they actually have the actual army. France, Germany, they are pathetic militarily. They're paper tigers. No matter what they do, it's all about, shaking their hands in the air, chest thumping and things like that. Without United States, they are nobodies. And that has been demonstrated, apart from the fact that United States itself was paraded as the paper tiger. It's absolutely not suited and doesn't have resources to fight real conventional war. And it lost the arms race pretty much across the conventional and nuclear spectrum. In terms of delivery systems, United States is not even in the same league as Russia. It's just not even there. It's not even funny. Russia say, sure, if you want Star 3, sure, we're ready to talk, but they're not going to get what they want. And of course, inspecting Russian delivery systems. So That's what it is. It's false flag, and it's noise, but that's what the West produces primarily, noise.